everybody, welcome to Guitar Player Gear Demos. My name is David Vignola. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this week's video. This time out, I'm going to show you a new guitar stand that I found and picked up that's going to enable us to protect our guitar better while it's on the stand, have the most stability of any guitar stand that I've seen out there on the market, and I wanted to share that with you today. So as you can see around me, I have a few different guitars out on a couple of different guitar stands, and I want to show you the guitar stand that I found that I thought I'd pass along to you. It's probably the best guitar stand that I've ever used, and probably the most stable and the safest for housing our prize instrument here. So you can see it here holding up this vintage Les Paul custom here. The stand itself, I have a second one here, is by a company called DNA, and this is called the Starfish Plus. I'll put the website up on the screen here in a second, and it will also be in the description box below where you can go out and you can buy it. This stand is in its folded up position. As you can see, it's nice and compact, and the way this stand kind of opens up is we flip up the neck here. And what I really like about the neck, where the guitar neck is going to sit, as you can see here, it's got a really nice padded throat here for the neck to sit in, so it won't mar up the neck. It also has a 5-legged guitar stand, which I really like. You flip out this little switch here on the side, and you open it up like so. There we go, nice and sturdy, and you flip this down, and as you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs on this guitar stand. The front two have foam padding on the legs, so when the guitar rests up against it, it doesn't mar the finish. And we can also adjust the height by simply pulling out this switch in the back. Let me see if you can see this here. And we can adjust the height of it. So if you have a bass guitar that's a little bit taller or longer neck, you can adjust it as such. Then you just flip this down, and now we have the Starfish guitar stand. Okay, and what's great about this stand, as we put a guitar in it, let me move this one out of the way. You can see it's nice and sturdy, 5 legs on the floor. When you put the guitar in, there is a little plastic plexiglass shield. Let me see if I can show you on this one up close to the camera, that protects the guitar from falling frontward. So if I roll up here and if I press this, oops, go this way with it, you can see this little plexiglass shield that kind of closes over the front, and that allows the guitar from falling, keeps the guitar from falling forward and falling out of the stand. This is the Starfish Plus stand, and that's what the Plus dictates this little plexiglass shield that's in the front. They also make this stand in what's called the Starfish Passive, and that is the same exact stand without the little plexiglass shield in the front. And so the difference between this and the other model is this one has the plexiglass shield, the other one does not. But what I really like about this stand, I'll turn it towards the camera angle so you can see it better. So as you can see, the guitar just sits in here and the plexiglass shield comes over the front, and you can see that the body of the guitar rests against the padded legs on the bottom. But what I really like about this stand, and what makes this stand probably the best stand that I've seen on the market, is the 5-legged design. That this stand is extremely stable and will not tilt over. So when you see I can hit the stand from left to right, this thing does not tip over at all. It's very stable. It doesn't move, tip forward easily, doesn't tip backward easily. It actually sits a little bit back on an angle, so it has has really good support on the floor. And in the studio, on stage, it's great. This stand is really stable. It's really really sturdy. Now, compared to maybe some other common stands that you may have in your studio or guitar stands that you used in the past, I have a few here as well. And let me put this off to the side and kind of show you the difference between the Starfish Plus and some of these other stands. So here is your typical, let me get the Les Paul. So here is a typical guitar stand that we've all used. Let me take the guitar out of here for a second, lean it off to the side here. Okay, where we have our basic $20, $15, $20 stand. This one happens to be made by Proline. On Stage stands make something very similar. This is what we call a typical yoke stand, which has this little cradle here that's all padded for the body of the guitar to sit. Also has the cradle up top for the neck to sit, again all padded. But this is only a tripod 3-legged design, right? So you unfold the legs. Obviously it sits on the floor, and you rest the guitar in it like such. The problem with a stand like this is that the tubing is made a pretty thin, kind of cheap material. It's all hollow tubing, as well as the Starfish. But the Starfish, the diameter of the tubing is a little more, and the gauge of the aluminum or steel being used is a little bit heavier duty than this. But what I really don't like about these stands, and I'm sure you've run into this problem before yourself maybe, let me turn it so you get a good camera angle. Let me move it back a little bit. Is that there is no way to protect the guitar from falling forward. You can see just with one finger how easy it is for this to fall forward, because if you have a guitar, especially a heavy guitar like a Les Paul, there's a lot of weight on the front, and all you have to do is just tap this thing, and you can see it falls right over. Side to side, it's a little more sturdy, but you have no way to protect and keep the neck, this thing, from slopping around inside of the yoke. It doesn't grasp the neck or the headstock in a firm way. So this is a pretty common type of guitar stand that you all have probably used, and I used for years. And if you ever had a time where you're in your studio and somebody walks by and this thing just falls out and falls flat on the floor, I'm sure that's happened to you. It happened to me with a Gibson SG once, and it broke my heart. It marred up the headstock. It didn't break it, thank goodness, but it definitely marred the finish up. Fell flat on the floor. So these things are pretty unstable, and this is again like a $20 stand. The next type of stand that you may have seen or may have used yourselves, let me get out my Fender Strat here, let me move this back out of the way. I'll take this out for a second, is the Hercules stand, and I'll bring this up to the camera here. This is a much more lower profile Hercules stand. You may have seen these before, where you can actually fold these up really nice just by pressing in. These things fold together pretty easily. Oops, backwards like this. You can close them up like this. You can fold this down like this, in and out. And these are really nice because you can just toss these in your gig bag, and they're really compact. This is probably, in my mind, kind of a step up above the stand that we just looked at. And it's really simple to open. You just fold this forward, it clicks into place, out, clicks into place, out, clicks into place, and you have the two kind of holders here. Again, they're all padded. This piece is padded as well. Three-legged tripod design. When you sit it on the floor, kind of sits down like this. Let me turn it to the side. Okay. And then you take your guitar and you just kind of lean it into the little feet on the front, and it kind of leans backwards up against that padded section back here. Again, a little bit more stable and sturdy than the first stand that we looked at here, or the yoke type stand. But again, you have no way to protect this. This thing can easily fall off left to right. It only takes a little bit of a nudge, and this thing's going to come falling forward. It's going to come to the left, going to come to the right. So although it's a much more low profile, easy to transport, throw it in the gig bag type stand, it doesn't offer a whole lot of protection to your guitar. And so the two stands we just looked at are pretty much your most common ones. Now there's lots of guitar stands on the market, and if you go online or go to any online retailer like Sweetwater, Musician's Friends, or Amazon, or eBay, or Reverb, or one of those places, you can find a ton of guitar stands. But they're all made around these two common designs here. The yoke type stand that we looked at, the $20 stand, or something like the Hercules stand. The Starfish stand is really unique, and not only in its design with the 5 legs, but it's a lot more heavy duty, and the closure on the front, the plexiglass kind of covering when you put the guitar in, keeps it from falling forward, which is really, really great. And even when you pick it up, the plexiglass kind of, gets out of your way, and you go ahead and you just move on. But it offers so much more protection than the other common stands. So now if you want to take a look at the price on what do these things cost, these Starfish stands, if you go out to the DNA website and check it out, the Starfish Plus runs about $64 US. The Starfish, the non-plus, or the passive mono, which is exactly the same as this stand without that covering on the front. So basically, it doesn't have this little piece of plexiglass that closes up to keep the guitar from falling forward. That is $50. So it's 15 extra dollars for the little clear plexiglass cover. And they also make what's called, I believe, a Hydra stand, which is a triple guitar stand. I believe it has a 6-leg design, and it has 3 heads, in in a circle where you can put 3 guitars on, which is really great for maybe in your studio. You want to have a couple of guitars out, but you don't want to have multiple stands. You can have them on one stand, and you can have 3 guitars. Again, with the 5 or 6-legged design, I think on the Hydra has 6 legs for the triple. Very sturdy, very stable, not going to tip over. That stand, I believe, is $150 US. So for a few extra dollars here, you can get yourself a really great guitar stand that is going to protect your investment. We spend a lot of money on our guitars. You may have a real high-end instrument, several thousands of dollars, like some of these Les Pauls, and you don't want to put them in a cheap $20 stand, because one dump on the floor and you can not only do some serious damage to your guitar, but you also can scuff it up and it can lose some of its value as well too. And we want to take care of our instruments. So I urge you to go out and take a look at the Starfish Plus guitar stand. Click the link in the description below and check it out. I think you'll really like the stand. And again, super sturdy, easy to take in and out. This thing is not going to break. It's heavy duty. It's on the ground. It's not moving. You click that in there, you can hit this thing left and right. I'm slapping it pretty hard here, and this guitar is not going to fall out of the stand. And when I found it, I said, let me get 3 or 4 of those from my studio, and I got rid of all my other guitar stands, and I have 3 or 4 of these now in my studio, and I feel a lot more secure that my guitars are being held in a way where we're not going to do damage to the guitars. So I hope this little short video was helpful about guitar stands. Anytime I find these new cool products that I pick up for myself, I want to share them with you guys. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Please go out to the YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Also, be sure to go check out my other YouTube channel, Home Recording Made Easy, where we have over 200 videos with all kinds of tips, tricks, and training around everything home recording, mixing, and mastering, which also includes guitar. And you can also go out to my Facebook page at Home Recording Made Easy and follow me there, as I'll be posting these videos across those 2 different channels. So until next time with the next gear demo, thank you for joining me on Guitar Player Gear Demos. My name has been David Vignola, and I will speak to you guys all soon. Take care.